All right, so are you ready to like really understand what's happening in the financial world?
Mm.
And you know how it's going to like hit your wallet? We did a deep dive into these earnings calls from Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla.
Yeah.
And honestly, the insights are crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we were right there in the boardroom, you know, listening to these titans of industry talk strategy.
Exactly. We got to hear CEOs and CFOs like straight up tell us what they're doing, where their money's going, what they think the next big thing is. This
Yeah.
is like your cheat sheet to figure out where things are headed financially.
Okay, let's just get right into it. Highlight number one,
Yeah.
AI. AI is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just like a buzzword anymore.
No.
These companies are putting it into like everything they do.
And it's paying off big time. Microsoft. Their AI business is bringing in $13 billion a year.
What?
That's up 175% from last year.
175%. Are you serious?
Yeah, so you can see they're really trying to be the top dog when it comes to AI for businesses.
Okay, so that kind of growth, I mean, what does that even tell us? Like, big picture.
It shows you how fast businesses are like jumping on board with AI. They want to streamline stuff, analyze data, make their products better. It's like the internet back in the day. Everyone wants in on the action.
So it's not all hype. It's actually like making serious money.
Oh, yeah.
What about Meta? They do an AI thing too.
For sure. They're putting a ton of money into their AI assistant, the personalized one.
Right.
They want 1 billion users on that thing. They think people would rather have an AI that's like knows them personally, like anticipates what they need.
Okay, so instead of just like a generic AI, it's more like a custom-made assistant just for you.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. But kind of creepy too, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some privacy stuff to think about there, but we can't forget about Tesla.
Right.
Elon Musk, he's all about their self-driving cars. He says that makes them like the kings of real-world AI.
He does say that a lot.
He does. He thinks they're so far ahead, everyone else is just like a speck in the rearview mirror.
Okay, so AI, it's definitely the hot thing right now. But for us regular people, how does this AI explosion actually affect us?
Think about it. AI is already shaping how you experience things online. Personalized recommendations on shopping sites, curated news feeds. It's all AI.
Yeah.
And in the future, healthcare could be revolutionized by AI. Think faster, more accurate diagnoses, personalized treatments.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it's like there's this invisible hand like guiding our digital lives and making things more efficient.
Exactly.
But what about the downsides? Like what happens to jobs as AI keeps getting smarter?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's something we got to be proactive about. Some jobs are definitely going to get automated. But history shows us that whenever there's like a big tech leap, it also creates new opportunities. The trick is to adapt and keep learning new skills so you stay ahead of the game.
Adapt or die, huh?
Pretty much.
Noted. Okay. Moving on, highlight number 2.
Okay.
The metaverse. Remember that? All the hype.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of died down. But is it really dead?
Well, the hype has chilled out for sure. But Meta's still pouring money into it. They're betting big on those AI glasses as like the key to the metaverse. They think those are going to be as common as smartphones.
AI glasses. So we're all going to be walking around with computers strapped to our faces, like in a sci-fi movie.
Think of it more like stylish glasses, with tech seamlessly built in. Imagine real-time translation or instant information and like super immersive entertainment all right there in your field of vision.
Okay, that actually does sound kind of amazing. But there are some downsides, right? Privacy is a big one. And I can already see the headlines. AI glasses are turning us into zombies.
Those are definitely valid concerns. We got to think about the ethics of tech that kind of blends the digital and physical worlds. But think about the potential. It's not just entertainment. Surgeons could use them during surgery for real-time data. Architects could visualize building plans on site.
Whoa, that's a game changer. All right, on to highlight number 3. Robots. Now, this is where things get interesting.
Yeah, Tesla, they're not just changing the car game. They're stepping into robotics with their Optimus robot.
Right.
And Elon Musk. He thinks this is going to be bigger than their whole car business. He's predicting over $10 trillion in revenue.
Wait, robots? Trillions of dollars. Is this like a sci-fi fantasy, or should we really be getting ready for a robot workforce?
Tesla's idea is to have Optimus do all the boring, repetitive jobs. So humans can focus on more creative and fulfilling stuff.
Okay.
First, they'll be in factories and industrial places. But they see a future where robots help with everyday things. like chores or taking care of the elderly.
Okay, so robot butlers and assistants. I'm starting to get the picture.
Yeah.
But what about jobs? Are robots going to take over and leave us all unemployed?
That's a good question, and it's one we need to talk about as a society. But, history shows that new tech usually leads to new industries and jobs that we can't even imagine right now.
So it's not about robots replacing humans. It's about robots and humans working together.
That's it. It's about using tech to make our lives better, open up new possibilities, and maybe even give us more free time to do the things we love.
Okay, so much to unpack. AI glasses, robots. My brain is kind of overloaded. What's next on our deep dive agenda?
Well, we could dig into the compute crunch. It's that global race to get enough computing power for all this AI development.
The compute crunch sounds intense.
It's fascinating. It's like a behind-the-scenes battle for who's going to control the future of tech.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So the compute crunch, it's basically this huge demand for processing power.
Yeah.
The kind you need for AI. Think of it like this AI is the brain, and compute power is the energy it needs to run.
Okay, so it's like a race for who has the fuel to power the AI engine. But how does this affect like regular people? I'm not building a supercomputer at home.
It affects us in a few ways. First, it impacts the cost of tech. When there's more demand for these super powerful chips and supply prices go up, and guess what? Those costs get passed down to us consumers.
So that's why my gaming laptop costs an arm and a leg.
Exactly. And it also impacts how fast new tech comes out. Companies that have a ton of computing power, they can develop and train their AI models way faster. It gives them a big advantage.
So it's like a research lab.
Hmm.
The one with the best equipment makes the breakthroughs first.
Right, and that's why companies like Microsoft are putting billions into data centers and custom silicon. They're building the infrastructure to support their own AI goals and also offer it to other businesses through the cloud.
So it's like building a superhighway for data and AI applications.
Perfect analogy. And it's not just Microsoft, Google, Amazon. They're all doing it. They know computing power is like the golden ticket to winning in the future.
Okay, so it's a global power play for the resources that fuel the AI revolution. Kind of scary when you think about it.
It's high stakes, for sure.
Ah.
But let's change gears for a minute and talk about something a little more like down-to-earth Tesla self-driving tech.
Yeah.
You mentioned unsupervised FSD earlier.
Oh yeah. The idea of a car driving itself with no human input is kind of mind-blowing. Is it really close to happening, like Tesla says?
Well, they're definitely pushing the limits. They're using a system based on vision, using cameras and AI to understand and navigate the world. Unlike some other companies that use LiDAR, that laser-based system.
So it's like teaching a car to see and understand the world like a human driver, but using cameras as eyes.
Exactly. And they're collecting tons of real-world driving data from all the Teslas out there with their Hardware 3. Every Tesla on the road is basically gathering information and feeding it back to their AI.
So it's a giant self-learning network that gets smarter with every mile.
Right. But getting to true unsupervised FSD, where the car can handle any situation without a human, that's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Think about all the crazy stuff human drivers deal with. Unexpected obstacles, pedestrians doing weird things, sudden weather changes. The AI has to process all that and make decisions in a split second.
And it has to be better than a human driver, which is a pretty high bar.
Exactly. Safety is the most important thing. And that's why Tesla keeps saying their system has to be proven way safer than human drivers before they'll release it.
Makes sense. Yeah. But let's be real. A car that drives itself. That's pretty tempting. Imagine chilling, reading a book, even taking a nap while your car handles rush hour.
Sounds nice, right? But it brings up a ton of ethical and legal questions, too, like who's responsible if an unsupervised car crashes? How do we make sure these systems are secure and can't be hacked? These are big issues we'll have to figure out as a society.
It's not just about the tech, it's about the impact on society, too. So Tesla's making big promises, but are they really going to have true unsupervised FSD anytime soon?
They're saying they'll do a limited release in some areas this year and maybe nationwide in a few years. But a lot of experts are skeptical. They think real-world driving is way more complicated than Tesla thinks.
So we'll have to wait and see. But what if they actually pull it off? What happens then?
It could change everything about transportation. Think about trucking taxis. Public transit jobs would be lost, but new ones would be created. We might not even need to own cars anymore if self-driving taxis become cheap and easy. Cities might be designed differently with less parking and more pedestrian areas.
Wow, it's like a domino effect, changing every part of our lives.
Exactly. It's a huge shift, and it's hard to predict all the consequences, good and bad. But it's a technology that's worth paying attention to.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. Self-driving cars, the compute crunch robots, it's like a glimpse into the future, and it's both exciting and a little scary.
It's definitely a wild time to be alive with all this new tech. And speaking of game-changing tech, we haven't even talked about the big one, the future of energy.
The energy question. It seems like everything we've talked about, AI, robots, self-driving cars, it all needs energy. And with electric vehicles and renewables becoming more popular, it's a big deal.
For sure, the whole energy landscape is transforming and it's connected to all these tech advancements.
So where do we even start with such a complex issue?
Let's start with the basics. As we move away from fossil fuels, we need reliable and sustainable ways to make and store energy. And that's where batteries come in.
Batteries,
Yeah.
like the ones in our phones and laptops.
Same idea, but way bigger. Think about it. Electric cars need batteries to store energy, and so do homes and businesses that want to use solar or wind power. Batteries are the key to making renewable energy work smoothly and making sure the power grid stays stable and reliable.
So it's like a giant energy reservoir you can tap into whenever you need it.
Good analogy. And Tesla. Surprise, surprise, they're leading the charge in the battery revolution. They're making batteries for their cars, but also giant storage systems like the Powerwall for homes and the Megapack for utilities.
So they're all in on batteries, from powering our cars to keeping the lights on in our homes.
It's a smart move, and they're not the only ones. Other companies are investing in battery tech, too. They know it's crucial for the switch to clean energy.
Okay, so batteries are the hot item in the energy world.
Yeah.
Any downsides? I mean, mining the stuff for batteries isn't exactly eco-friendly, right?
That's a good point. The demand for battery materials like lithium and cobalt is exploding, and there are real concerns about the environmental and social impacts of mining them. The industry needs to figure out how to source these materials sustainably and recycle them properly.
It's not a perfect solution. It's complicated with trade-offs and challenges.
Exactly. But the potential benefits are huge. Imagine a world powered by renewable energy stored and distributed with advanced batteries. It could change how we live and how we interact with the planet. It's a future worth fighting for.
It's a lot to process, but I'm starting to see the connections between all these different technologies. AI, robotics, self-driving cars, renewable energy, they're all intertwined, pushing each other forward and changing the future in ways we can barely imagine.
It's a crazy time to be alive, wouldn't you say? But with all this talk about the future, it's easy to lose sight of what it means for us personally. So let's bring it back down to earth and talk about how all this affects you, your everyday life, your finances.
That's a great point. Because honestly, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed after all this. What are the key takeaways? What do I need to do to survive in this rapidly changing world?
That's the question that leads us to the most important part of this whole deep dive, the actionable takeaways. Here's what you need to keep in mind as you think about the future. All right, so first things first, don't underestimate AI. It's not just a tech thing anymore. It's going to change like every industry. So start thinking about how it could affect your job, you know? What are the things you do that a machine could do? What new skills can you learn to stay ahead of the game?
Okay, so upskilling is key. I got it. But what about those AI glasses? Should I be thinking about getting those?
They might seem like a gimmick now, but remember smartphones. They seem kind of weird at first, too. Early adopters usually have an advantage. It's worth keeping an eye on AI glasses, see how they develop and how they might fit into your life.
All right, I'll add research AI glasses to my to-do list. What else?
Keep a close eye on the energy scene. The shift to renewables and batteries is happening way faster than people think. It might be a good time to look into solar panels for your house, or think about getting an electric car.
So go electric at home and on the road.
Exactly. And remember, these aren't just lifestyle choices, they're investments. The companies that are pushing these technologies, they're going to grow a lot in the next few years.
So I could actually make money from these trends, not just adapt to them.
Yep. The more you understand what's happening, the better decisions you can make for yourself and your money.
Well, I have to say, I feel a lot more informed now and a little less overwhelmed. Honestly, this deep dive has given me a lot to think about.
That's what we were going for. It's not about knowing exactly what the future holds. It's about understanding the forces that are shaping it and making smart choices.
You've definitely given me a lot to chew on. I appreciate it. Before we wrap up, could you leave me with one last thought? Something to ponder as I figure out how to navigate this crazy new world.
Here's a question for you. What if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do to take advantage of these trends? Would you start a business? Invest in some new tech? Learn a cutting-edge skill?
Wow, that's a really good question. It makes you think about all the possibilities. Thanks for the deep dive. It's been really eye-opening. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us. Remember, the future is what we make it, so let's make it awesome.